Hello, everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to Interrupt for another. Actually, I can't say another because this is my first live stream on my Interrupt channel. So, welcome to everybody who's here. Welcome to everybody who's going to come here later to watch this live stream or this upload. So, I titled this stream "Time of Uncertainty," and I posted a recent video talking about how the government has shut down and people weren't necessarily able to get their SNAP benefits, and so on and so forth. And I touched on it without necessarily going into a lot of detail. And I titled this video "Time of Uncertainty." Before I go into that, I do apologize because right now I'm sitting at the park and it's a bit of a breezy day, so I don't know if the wind is affecting the sound effect of my voice. If that's the case, then that sucks. If not, then I'm gonna just rock and roll with it. But um, I think honestly, when it comes to America, and I'm not, there's other people that's from other countries that will join my live stream or even watch this video. But in terms of America, we have this idea called the American Dream. Um, and the American dream of what's it called, the pursuit of happiness, I suppose. I don't know if that's the correct way of describing the American dream, or you know coming to America and working for a living, and how they say, grabbing yourself by the pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and stuff like that, like all these little things, whatever. But the thing is about a dream is that you gotta be asleep to dream. And you gotta be pretty comfortable to dream. When you're dreaming, it don't necessarily mean you're having a good dream, or it doesn't necessarily mean you're having a bad dream. But when you're asleep, you know, your sleep could be sweet, or you can have a nightmare. Usually, when you have a nightmare, you're kind of shaking up out your dream or out your sleep. So, but in order to dream, you have to be asleep. You know, and the American dream, as we know it, is over with. And but I think that people are so used to being so comfortable, if that makes sense. They're used to comfortability, and then when you're so comfortable, you end up falling asleep sometimes. So you become a little too comfortable, I would say. And so the American dream, or I would say that time of uncertainty. We've seen it now where the government shut down. It's not the first time the government shut down. It's been numerous times where the government shut down. So it's not the first time. But we've had it where back in 2020, everybody was doing the hokey pokey, how that was an uncertain time. We've had it where people's SNAP benefits have failed them. We've had it where science was uncertain, proved to be uncertain during the time where everybody was doing hokey pokey back in 2020. We've had it where the government shut down. And it's like everything is so uncertain now. But yet, I feel like people want to be comfortable, or try to find every way to be comfortable, or not having to be responsible for doing the things that they need to do, or taking care of the things that they need to take care of. And so it's like everybody was like, obviously everybody wants the government to be back open because kind of in the United States everything kind of shut down and wasn't necessarily move my whole camera. It wasn't liquid, if I'll make sense. Everything wasn't flowing properly, you know. It's uncertain times, even with groceries, with the prices of groceries. The prices of groceries and inflation is going up so crazy. It's uncertain. Like we're literally in the most uncertain time that we've ever been in our lives. And my question is people actually like prepared? Like, are people like mentally prepared in doing what they need to do or doing what they have to do? And I'm not necessarily saying like doing something totally off the wall, but when it comes to like feeding your family, taking care of yourself and taking care of your family and those your neighbors and all of these things, you know, like you're not going to be able to rely on the government. The government shut down numerous of times. You're not going to be able to rely on stores. We've seen where stores have shut down and you couldn't necessarily buy tissue nor food. We've seen it where they said, hey, if you get this, if you do the hokey pokey, you're going to be well. And well, turns out that wasn't necessarily the case. And they always push science on you, and we've seen it where science have failed people. Unless you're still asleep, because there's people who are still asleep and they still believe like, oh yeah, the doctors were right and stuff like that, and yada yada yada. And, nothing you can really tell them people. But what are people going to do in this most uncertain time that we are facing? Time of uncertainty, especially when it comes to, God forbid, World War III. Like, you don't even know, like, no, like nobody knows what's going to happen. Like, this is the most wildest time that I feel like people have ever like been in, and it's shaking people out of their sleep. And in regards to America, because I don't know if anybody else, any other country got their quote unquote dream like America does. For years they've been using entertainment. I did a video about entertainment or the word entertainment. It's a trap. It's a trap you. It's to contain you into a certain mindset, or I don't want to say delusion, but it can lead to delusion. But it's to contain you. Entertain. Like a container. And well, we see it where Hollywood is. The entertainment industry. Man, unless I'm like out of touch, because I don't really like listen. I love movies. I watch movies, but it's not the same. It ain't hitting the same. Is it just me? Like the entertainment industry, like it's just not hitting the same. Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, it just ain't hitting the same. And I feel like everybody's scattered like roaches, especially with everything going with the, Diddy file, or not the Diddy files, Epstein, Diddy, Jay-Z. Nobody even talking about Jay-Z no more. That was crazy. Like, anybody talking about Jay-Z no more. He was facing trial on something. Anybody talking about Jay-Z no more. So back in the day, it used to be a certain thing that people were asleep to a lot of things that was going around. That was a certain thing. That was a certainty. People were sleeping. People were, having that great American dream. Now it's going to be a certainty where people, you got no choice but to, see the things that people have been ignoring all these years. All the messed up, corrupt politicians and all these things. And I'm not sitting here and being like, oh, it's a one-sided thing. It's on all sides. Wickedness is on all sides. I ain't sitting here saying like I'm a saint, but I'm just saying like corruption, wickedness, snakes, you know, it's on all sides. It's in all color, manner of people. It don't matter. Color don't matter. Like people. Everybody's capable of doing something wicked, crazy. But you're not going to be able to just hide You're not going to be able to just put your head in the sand and act like this stuff is not happening. You're going to have to deal with it, and it's going to affect. It's going to affect everything: your livelihood, where you're at, where you stay, your neighborhood, your neighbors, your family. Like, and then at that point, what are you going to do? Are you prepared? Are you mentally prepared to handle that? My channel is called Mental Rep. This one is called Mental Rep. I do have another channel called Homestead Dan, where I'm practically living out in the country, and I don't got no internet out here. That's why I'm at the park. But are people mentally prepared to handle that? And I'm gonna do another live stream one day, and I want to talk about how like being prepared to doing what you got to do. And I'm not sitting here like saying, "Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the first comment. I do appreciate you. Welcome." Said hi. I see you. I see you. Hi. Thank you for joining. Are people mentally prepared to do what they got to do? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you? Where you from? PPP. What's this about? Okay, so my live stream is titled "Time of Uncertainty." How we're like living in the most uncertain time ever. Especially like I don't know where you're from. I don't know what part of the world you're from, but I'm in the United States, and so it's like we're living in a time like in the United States where like nothing is certain no more. You can't necessarily depend on the government. You can't necessarily depend on stores being open. Not even just being open, but supplying the things that people need. You can't necessarily depend on science. You can't necessarily depend on all these things that we used to depend on, or they say like trust your government or trust your politicians or trust this or trust that, and doing all these things. And it's like you can't trust it no more because it's like you see so much where they have all failed. And I would say it really started back in 2020. Thank you for the light. It really started back in 2020. And 2020, that's no coincidence. 2020 means 2020 vision. And I believe 2020 was the first time when that American dream that everybody seemed to have was kind of ended. And everybody had to wake up. 2020 vision. Everybody had to wake up and see. Oh, I do apologize because the wind is picking up and I don't know if my voice is cutting out. If you can hear me, you can give me a thumbs up. That'd be great. But a lot of people are forced to start to actually see, like, and wake up and smell the coffee for the first time. And just see the amount of BS that's actually going on in America. I would say in America. And I'm not sitting here like poking like, at one side, especially when it comes to politics. I'm not sitting here poking like, oh, Republican or oh, Democrat. Like, there's corruptness on all sides. There's wicked people on all sides. But then again, there's good people on all sides. There's good people over there, and there's good people over here. There's good people who black, good people who white, good people who green, good people who yellow, blue, and red. Don't matter. There's good people. But you really gotta, try everybody. You really gotta try everybody. How long has this been going on for? What specifically? What are you specifically asking? Like what's been going on for? and I'll do my best to try to answer with accuracy and precision. Anybody else got any questions? By the way, I know I got like 5 people in here. People been coming in and out. I do appreciate everybody who's been stopping by and paying attention and listening. If you're enjoying the live stream, please subscribe. This is my first live stream on YouTube. This is my first live stream on YouTube. I do have a TikTok for my other channel though. I don't have a TikTok for my mental work channel, but I do have a TikTok. I don't know everyone. I don't know everything. Oh, everything. I say when SHIT hit the fan back in 2020, when the entire world was shaken by the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. I want to say something else, but back then, it was a crazy time, and it was censoring a lot of people, and I don't want my thing to be censored like that. So I just say the hokey pokey. If you're catching my drift. That's what it's all about. I know that's what it's all about. But they wanted everybody to do the hokey pokey. They wanted everybody to get the hokey pokey, And everybody was getting it, but then, then there was those people who didn't get it. And then, the whole world shut down during that time. That was a crazy time, man. My parents, they're older in age, and I asked them, I'm like, Dad, I'm like, have y'all ever experienced anything like this? I'm like, what's the craziest time y'all ever is this the craziest time y'all ever lived in? And they were like, we've never experienced anything like this in our lives. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. He was like, this by far, this is the craziest, and my dad is 70. No, he is 70. He's not 70. He is 60. He is 63. My dad is 63. I have to go. Hopefully come across you again. Yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, and you will come across me. I do have other content here. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. I'm gonna have to probably get off here soon and go on my TikTok. That's my homes. I only have a Homestead Dan channel. I do. Thank you for the sub. I do have Homestead. Let me see if I can I type something on here? I can type something. No, I can't. I can't type nothing. Bye. Adios. Hasta luego. No, not mañana. Not mañana, because I won't be here tomorrow. Hasta luego. Yo hablo un poco español. Yo quiero español mucho. ¿Sí? No sé. Yo quiero español mucho. I want more Spanish. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I want more Spanish. I don't know. But I don't speak Spanish like that, yo. But I've been learning. I've been taking my time to learn Spanish. But anywho, I got a way off subject. I want to do another live stream. I don't know when it will be, but because I don't have no internet. I don't live here. I live out in the country. So that where I live, no internet. So I come here so I can leech off the internet. But whatever that next live stream will be, I want to talk about how are people going to be prepared of what they got to handle the SHIT that they need to handle in the most righteous way possible, because I feel like when people go through a storm, there's like crap. It's like it's so much chaos. Like nobody necessarily knows what's going on during a storm or during a time of crisis or during a time of like uncertainty or during a time of like life or death or whatever. Um, so it's like, people are going to be prepared to do the things that they need to do in the most righteous way possible? Because there are going to be people who, like, they got their SNAP benefit. They had their SNAP benefit. You know, they weren't receiving their SNAP, and they were prepared to ride out and rob Walmart. You know, and obviously that's theft. But they were willing to do that because they feel like they had to do that in order to survive. But you don't need to do that. You know, you don't need to do that if people know how to grow their own food. We're in a time of, this is again a time of uncertainty. You might as well learn how to grow your own food. You know, and this is why I have my Homestead Dan channel. Hopefully people are learning a little bit of something, because I post on like the lifestyle of Homestead Dan. I don't post like, I do post like other things, like, you know, how to grow things or what you can use to grow things in. But like, instead of stealing, people can just grow their own stuff. Is it such a hard thing to learn how to grow your own food? Then you don't necessarily have to rely on the grocery stores as much. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, if you grow your own food, you don't have to rely on the grocery store. You're still going to go to your grocery store. You're still going to go to your, at least your, not your convenience store, but your, you know, supply store and all this stuff. You need like some tape or flashlights or things like that. But if you're growing your own food, you know, what do you need your EBT card for? You know, unless people just want the processed food. You know, you got the people who just want processed food, and I can't help you with that. You know, you don't need processed food to live. But again, you know, if people got kids, right, and they want to feed their kids and they love their kids, you know, and they want to, you know, again, I said this already, they want to feed their kids, then they should probably learn how to grow food. Because I feel like people, and I've said this in a video, I feel like people, they're kind of ignorant when it comes to thinking about growing their food, because I feel like people think that, oh, if the store shut down, I'll just grow my own stuff, thinking like it's easy to grow food. It's not easy to grow food at all. But yet I feel like people have this misconception about, you know, if they can't access anything, they'll just put a seed in dirt, and they'll just think that it magically comes up. And yeah, well, it might come up, but it might not come up. And if it don't come up, why? Would you know why? You probably wouldn't know why, because why? You haven't taken the time to study anything about growing food. Or yeah, so in a time of uncertainty, there are things that you can do to make sure certain things are certain. Like, you're not certain if the stores will be open, or you're not certain if the government will remain open. You're not certain if there might be another outbreak of some type of illness that nobody prepared for. You know, tomorrow is not certain. Tomorrow is not certain. You know, but the things that you can control is the things that you learn. So if you learn how to grow food, you can certainly grow food. If you know how to build anything, you can certainly build something. If you learn this, how to speak Spanish, like me, for learn how to speak Spanish, then you'll certainly know how to speak Spanish. Like, those things that you can control, those things can be certain in the time that you learn it, because what is given can be taken away, you know. And we've seen that with SNAP. What was given can be taken away. We've seen that with a lot of jobs, like, you know, what those jobs, those governmental jobs, those federal jobs that were given, they were for a brief time taken away. They weren't paid. and then what people want to do. Time of uncertainty. Time of uncertainty. Anyway, that is all, everybody. If you enjoyed this live stream, please consider hitting the C sub. There's no C in sub. I don't know why I said C. There's no C in sub. But consider hitting the subscribe button. That would be very, very helpful to me in this channel. Again, it's been a long time. For those who haven't seen me, I do apologize. Life change, life happens. But it's good to see you all here. Good to see you all well. And I hope everybody's well. And for those who are new and have joined in the live stream or will see this video later, consider hitting the subscribe button, and even leaving a like on the video too. That would be very, very helpful too. Right now we got 270 subscribers. We're making our way up to 500. Making our way up to 500. If you want to support me on my other channel is Homestead Dan. I will leave a link in the description to my channel. I will leave my @ name in the description as well, and I will leave my TikTok Homestead Dan channel TikTok link as well if you want to follow me on TikTok, because I do go live on TikTok as well. But yeah, that is it, folks. So peace and God bless everybody. I will see you all when I see you.